Shayna Hubers, a Kentucky woman who is serving a life sentence in prison for shooting her boyfriend Ryan Poston in 2012. Hubers, who was 21 at the time, called the police herself to report that she shot 29-year-old Poston in self-defense. Authorities discovered that he was shot 6 times. Hubers was taken in for questioning and later arrested for the slaying. Ryan Poston and Shayna Hubers looked like the perfect couple. Ryan was a successful attorney, and Shayna an accomplished graduate student. The couple broke up several times, but they always found their way back to one another. In October of 2012, friends say Ryan Poston had decided to end the relationship once and for all. But Shayna Hubers showed up at his condo the night he had a date with Miss Ohio USA, Audrey Bold. Police believe they had an argument and Shayna shot Ryan 6 times. Shayna Hubers called the police after shooting Ryan and told the operator that it was in self-defense.
Campbell County 911.
Ma'am, I killed my boyfriend in self-defense.
What did you kill him with?
A gun, a loaded gun in the house. I'm standing about 10 feet from his dead body. I mean, I'm not a murderer, ma'am. I just killed him.
What's your name?
My name is Shayna Michelle Hubers.
Shayna claimed that Ryan threw her across the room, but investigators said there were no signs of a violent fight. Shayna Hubers surrendered and was brought to the Highland Heights, Kentucky Police Department for questioning. She immediately requested a lawyer but still could not stop talking to police for almost 3 hours. She danced and twirled and even sang Amazing Grace. Her behavior was very bizarre for someone who had just lost a loved one. She was sentenced to life imprisonment with the possibility of parole. Hubers will have to serve 17 years before she can be considered for parole in 2032.
We, the jury, fixed the defendant, Shayna Hubers' punishment for the offense of murder at life imprisonment.
Ezra McCandless, a Wisconsin woman who claims self-defense after fatally stabbing her ex-boyfriend 16 times, will serve at least 50 years in prison. 22-year-old Ezra McCandless slayed Alex Woodworth in 2018. The stabbing took place in McCandless's car, which had become stuck in an isolated muddy road in the town of Springbrook, Wisconsin. McCandless then carved the word boy into her arm and initially tried to blame the victim for the injury. 3 hours later, a bloody McCandless showed up outside the door of a dairy farmhouse, saying she'd been the victim of an assault in her car that she tried to blame on Woodworth.
I grabbed the knife to kill me because he has a knife. We discussed it often, and we discussed it the most during very intimate moments of our relationship. I decided then to knee him in the groin.
Her friends said McCandless was an attention seeker and that she was going to do everything to get back with her ex-boyfriend again. Dunn County Judge James Peterson sentenced McCandless to life in prison, without the possibility of parole for 50 years, following her conviction for first-degree intentional homicide.
And the answer to the special verdict question is yes. Use a dangerous weapon. We, the jury, find the defendant, Ezra J. McCandless, guilty of first-degree intentional homicide as charged in the information.
Michelle Carter. On July 13, 2014, authorities discovered the body of 18-year-old Conrad Roy in his pickup truck, parked outside of a supermarket in Fairhaven, Massachusetts. The honor roll student, who struggled with social anxiety and depression, had taken his life by attaching a hose from a portable generator and filling his car's cab with carbon monoxide. In the weeks leading up to the incident, Roy exchanged several texts with his 17-year-old girlfriend Michelle Carter, who encouraged him to take his own life. She texted him, "You keep pushing it off and say you'll do it, but you never do. It's always going to be that way if you don't take action now." Although they lived just an hour apart, most of their communication was via phone call and text messaging, and they only met in person 5 times. At her trial, Carter was convicted of involuntary manslaughter and was initially sentenced to 2.5 years in prison, although this was reduced to 15 months. In January 2020, Carter was released early after serving just 11 months of her sentence.
This court, having reviewed the evidence and applied the law thereto, now finds you guilty. Ms. Carter, a guilty finding having entered on the indictment charging you with the involuntary manslaughter of Conrad Roy III, now sentences you to 2.5 years in the Bristol County House of Correction. 15 months of said sentence shall be deemed a committed sentence.
Jodi Arias. She was convicted in 2013 and sentenced to life in prison in 2015 for slaying her ex-boyfriend, 30-year-old Travis Alexander. The pair had met at a company convention in Las Vegas in September 2006. After 5 months together, they broke up, but despite their breakup, Jody moved to Mesquite, Arizona to be closer to Alexander. At that time, Alexander began dating another woman, and not long after he was found dead in the shower of his Mesquite, Arizona home.
Were you crying when you were shooting him?
I don't remember.
Were you crying when you were stabbing him?
I don't remember.
Jody was accused of stabbing and slashing Alexander 27 times and then shooting him. She initially denied any involvement, then later blamed it on masked intruders before eventually settling on self-defense.
This is not the truth, Jody.
This is all I know.
Does not make any sense. Were you at Travis's house on Wednesday?
Absolutely not. I was nowhere near Mesa.
Authorities said they found her hair and palm print at the crime scene, along with time-stamped photographs on a memory card and a camera discovered inside Alexander's washing machine that placed Jody there on the day of the incident.
I didn't mean to shoot him or anything. I didn't even think I was holding the trigger. I just was pointing it at him.
As I stand here now, I can't in good conscience ask you to sentence me to death.
Jody was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
The court finds the mitigation presented is not sufficiently substantial to call for leniency and that a natural life sentence is appropriate.
Courtney Clenny, an OnlyFans model who fatally knifed her 27-year-old boyfriend, Christian Obumseli, inside their luxury Miami apartment. Florida prosecutors have argued that she remained behind bars in the lead-up to her trial, arguing she is a flight risk due to the large sums of money she has made from her social media account. Clenny, whose real name is Courtney Taylor, has a massive presence on Instagram as well, with more than 2 million followers. A Miami police detective said at a hearing earlier this year that investigators initially believed Clenny acted in self-defense. She claimed she threw the knife at Obumseli from a 10-foot distance and said she was acting in self-defense, but police did not find any evidence that Clenny had been harmed and said the medical examiner disputed her account of the incident, noting that Obumseli's injury was much more consistent with a downward strike with the knife than with a throw from such a far distance.
Can be heard in the background repeatedly saying that he was dying. Defendant Clenny called 911 to tell the police that Christian was suffering from a stab.
Multiple sources described Clenny as the dominant force in the arguments and Obumseli as trying to de-escalate the situation. A neighbor who did not witness any arguments said Clenny was often visibly under the influence of alcohol or other substances.
I just feel it's important that the court be made aware that that warrant that Judge Dello signed, I do find that he did find probable cause. However, there's not probable cause for second-degree murder, Judge. At best, it's manslaughter. The detective also indicated there's no signs of bruising that were consistent with Ms. Clenny. I was at the homicide unit and I have photographs of her bruising.
For all those reasons, I'm going to abstain at this moment from interjecting my opinion.
Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you like this type of content. Thanks for watching and catch you in the next one.